Monday. One of the thunderstorms coming through in. Got the hatches buttoned down best we can, but you can see how dark it's gotten here. It's gonna start downpouring any minute now. Put my little table away in case we get some wind, but yeah, I got the canopy down. Hopefully keep all this. Yeah, you can't even see it, it's too dark. Awning in, canopy's down, covering everything in there. I think we're buttoned up as good as we can. I'm glad I put those new windshield wipers on the other day. Good morning. It's Monday morning, about 10:30. Line of thunderstorms rolling through. Kyle's on his way back home. I've got the campsite yet for one more night. I'll move sites tomorrow morning. But our site is sitting low and mostly dirt, so it's going to be a mud site for most of the afternoon. So after we said goodbye, I am heading up to Copper Point, which is about 2 hours to the northwest of where we're at in Van Riper, I think that's how it's pronounced, Van Riper State Park, which is right on Lake Michigamme. So yeah, we did quite a bit of, it was a really fun weekend. I don't have, I've got about half a dozen things pinned up on that peninsula, including the lighthouse, so I'm going to start there. I mostly broke through that storm now. You see a few thunderheads out in the distance yet, but the rain has significantly slowed down and starting to get daylight again. So judging by the radar and the way that storm was moving, a part of it went through the peninsula up where I'm going earlier this morning, so might be a little bit wet in spots, but there's no more rain anticipated up there for the rest of the day. So good day to go exploring and let my campsite dry out. If I were to remain at camp today, I would just be stuck inside the camper all day. And I have a ton of video from this weekend to edit, but you know, while I'm in this area, I want to go up and do a little bit of sightseeing. Yeah, and that I don't know too much else for right now. And I did remember to bring my microphones today. So yeah, we'll pick you up when we get somewhere for something to see. Catch you later. That's a cool little camper. It's like a wave going through. Not terrible. Okay, this is Fort Wilkins Historic State Park in near Copper Harbor, Michigan. As far as I know, this is the northernmost point in Michigan. So this is the beginning of US 41. This is kind of a dead end up here. And according to this little map here, US 41 apparently goes all the way down to Florida. But the only reason I got back in here is I'm trying to find the lighthouse. I was driving and GPS like turn left. I'm like, where? It's nothing but woods. So we're gonna go back and see if I can find this proper turn off. There's half a dozen things up here I want to check out. It's about 1:45. It's still a little bit rainy. How about that drive in, by the way?
How about that ride in?
But yeah, I haven't looked at the weather since I got here. When I left the campsite, they were saying by 1, 2 o'clock it's supposed to be about 80 degrees up here, and the rain's supposed to be past.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
Yeah, quarter mile, turn right. Anyways, yeah, it's supposed to be nice and sunny, warm today. but the weather up here can change by the hour, so that may no longer be accurate. We'll find out. I do have my sweatshirt on. I've got an umbrella with me here in the truck, so even if the weather does not cooperate. Okay, so it's saying turn right here, but that is a private road, no trespassing, with a Glock gate. So, okay.
Turn right.
We're gonna get back into town here, find some place to pull off, and actually look at the map a little closer, because apparently just punching this thing in the GPS is not viable. That our lighthouse just closed, I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, when I left camp, it looked like it was supposed to be good, but the weather changed up here pretty frequently. Even if it's kind of rainy and crappy up here, I'd rather be here than stuck at the campground. Yeah, here we are, Fort Wilkins Historic State Park. My campsite's going to be a giant mud bowl, and I'd be stuck in the camper all day, and Starlink does not work at all where we're at. There's just too many trees. Like it worked, you know, a few videos back I was complaining about, you know, how it got like 60% ping success where I was at in those woods, but at least it was connected. Where I'm at, it's getting like 25% ping success, so it's not like it disconnects so frequently that my computer won't even stay connected to it. So so I could sit in the camper in the dark by myself and edit video, because I can edit video offline, but a lot of the, you know, I insert little like clips here and there, and I'm not that good at video editing, so I have to look up how to do stuff quite frequently, and I can use my cell a little bit. It stays connected. I've got a couple of bars of service, but the speed is so ridiculously slow that, you know, if I want to watch a YouTube how-to video, it just doesn't work. And if I want to pull down a clip of something, like I'm going to throw that hangover clip in this video, that doesn't work either. So anywho, it's quite pretty up here, even with it being overcast. These woods are pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, the GPS wants me to make a little loop up here and then go back the way we came to that closed road. So, oh, look at that, a Kaibo. Just what the doctor ordered. All right, here's those signs. Isle Royal National Park. Copper Harbor. Early in 1843, the U.S. War Department built the government house and established a federal land agency on Porter's Island, a small narrow island and lying just offshore. Prospectors found small deposits of copper ore and native copper in the cliffs and on the ridges of the surrounding hills. The first copper claims recorded in Michigan under federal law were located here in 1843. A rush followed, which reached its peak in 1848. Hundreds of claims were located and explored. Copper Harbor was a boom town with stores, hotels, and saloons. Those were the days of whiskey and whiskers. One of the earliest newspapers in Michigan started publication here in 1846 as Lake Superior News and Mining Journal, with headquarters in Astor House. And then Fort Wilkins State Park. Infantry. Okay, they built the fort up there. The fort was re-garrisoned. Okay. Alright, the rain's really coming down here again, so getting a little thunder. Let's go back up to the truck here and take a look at the weather and the maps and make somewhat of a game plan. Okay, this is Eagle Harbor. This is like 15 miles west of Copper Harbor. I have no cell service anywhere up here, so one downside of my, I'll just go explore and figure shit out as I go, way of traveling and sightseeing. The downside of that is if I don't have service, like I don't here, makes it a little bit more challenging to look up stuff. The good news is, as I started moving west out of Copper Harbor, I started getting some sunshine and the rain stopped. So I think I just got to Copper Harbor a little bit early from the weather forecast I had seen earlier, but without being able to pull one, no idea. So I kind of started heading this way, hoping to pick up a cell signal along the way. I haven't yet. And I did remember seeing Eagle Harbor on the map prior and having some stuff pinned here. So so I decided just kind of could drive through here, look around a little bit, and I'm just gonna keep kind of going. My Google map did load like a high level map area based on cache, so I'm just gonna kind of keep exploring around a little bit until I get some more service, and then I'll actually, I guess, particularly download the particular sites I want to go see while I'm up here. Yeah, I guess some nice boats. I'm gonna park here somewhere and walk around a little bit. Yeah, lesson learned: if you ever come up this way and you have T-Mobile, download your maps ahead of time, or just don't be like me and go sightseeing without a plan. Alright, so this is U.S. Coast Guard Eagle Harbor Station. I think there's a life-saving museum here too. Open 9 to 6 supposedly. I saw several signs on the highway for that. So this is Eagle Harbor State Harbor. Recreation passport required. Stop aquatic hitchhikers. Swim at your own risk. Eagle Harbor Navigation Project. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Well, I wasn't gonna walk around, but I don't see anything here really worth wandering around for. Some nice boats. So yeah, there is so I can kind of see on my map a few of the pins I've dropped and the names of the places. There's a couple of falls nearby that are pinned, but with all the rain that just came through here within the last 5 hours or so, I'm not feeling up to going out on some muddy trails. I'm not really fully prepared for it anyway. I have a full tank of gas and plenty of water with me, but I don't have mud boots. I don't have my hiking boots. And with no cell service in the area and by myself, just not a good idea. Then did a lot of hiking the last several days, so I'm good with missing a couple. I'll just keep them pinned for future trips up through this area. But for now, I'm just gonna keep this whole road is a loop back to Highway 41 with lots of little harbor towns and stuff like that. So we're just gonna kind of check some stuff out until I get cell service, and I think it's about 45 minutes back to Houghton or Houghton, the nearest major town that I went through on the way up here that I remember having cell service for. So anywho, this is a cute little town. I think this is Eagle River maybe. Those new windshield wipers are working good. Cafe open. Here we go. I want to take a picture of that sign. So that road will take me back to US 41. We got Sand Dunes Drive, Eagle River, and Eagle Harbor Lighthouse over here. So who needs cell service? Alright, so this is Eagle Harbor. Over there, I'll plug my phone. Got enough charge. That's the Coast Guard station where I was just at, out on that little peninsula thing. Alright, Eagle Harbor Lighthouse. I like signs. All right, Eagle Harbor. Landed June 15th, 1847. Came on the Independence. First propeller boat of Lake Superior. Maximum speed of 5 miles per hour that night. Greeley reported the harbor was frozen over for some distance from shore. There was no dock, and the oxygen it had brought were thrown overboard to swim ashore. Eagle Harbor was settled by copper prospectors in 1844. Later became headquarters for many of the copper mines. Okay, this is basically the same sign I read back at that park. Okay. Lighthouse is up here though. Nice view of Lake Superior there. All right, let's go check out this lighthouse. What's going on? All right, well, thank you so much. All right, $8 admission. Yeah, several buildings here with some museums and stuff. Lady was super nice, and as soon as I walked up to get information, she was immediately trying to talk to me, so I didn't really have the nerve to tell her, I think I'm gonna pass. But I mean, she thinks there's more rain coming in. I still have no service. But we'll check this place out. I was reading on that sign that the lighthouse here is still operational by the U.S. Coast Guard, but it's all automated. But the rest of the site was donated by Congress to the Historical Society here.
Now we got to see where the water meets the sky. I'm not photogenic. First lighthouse in the harbor was built in 1857 and received the fourth order.
Oh, this is the pass between Sioux Locks and Duluth. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the significance of this place.
You got to see the map that shows how many shipwrecks are out here, and there's so many they don't even know about, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I saw there was
It's
further
in the thousands.
Yeah, further east on one of those coasts was a whole thing on a lot of the shipwrecks. But they were closed the day I was there. But I've heard, yeah,
Yeah,
it gets pretty wild.
This, I think, here, that's a lot. This is Whitefish Point.
Yep.
So really deep. We were there last summer before last. Sun's out, typical summer day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 500 yards offshore, it was all fog so thick. And it's like, these guys had to make this turn to bring these ships in. And that's a really deep part. And their whole museum, they're like, oh yeah, so many of them, like 400 plus, sunk right here at this turn.
Yep, that's where I was that day.
And then here, Marquette, you come out, or actually it was Munising, I think over here. About 30 miles out is the deepest part of the lake. It's over 1,300 feet deep.
Yep.
It's a monster, dude. I was raised on Lake Erie, where it's not really over 100 feet deep anywhere, and that's why the storms get so nasty, because it's so shallow.
Oh, okay.
I lost friends in high school that had boats flip and drown and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And the erosion problems on the coast are horrible because of it. Here with this rock, man, it just sustains it, right? It's amazing.
Oh, interesting.
And they say this sucker doesn't freeze over. Of course, Lake Erie doesn't even freeze over much. When I was a kid, it froze every year. People used to drive their cars across to Canada. I'm like, yeah, that's a little crazy.
That's a little crazy.
Maybe a Model A Ford that only weighs 600 pounds. I don't know. You know. I'm not taking my Tundra out there. I know that.
Right.
And it never fails. Every year, late, guys fishing. They'll lose snowmobiles, whatever.
Yep.
We had them winds earlier this year that blew like 6 feet of water towards Buffalo. They found outboard motors, all this shit in the sand that was under 6 feet of water before.
Oh, wow.
Pretty wild. I like the fact it's salt-free, no sharks.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, brother, have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. All right. First lighthouse was built in 1851. Received a lens in 1857, 1871. The present lighthouse was built 1980. The light was automated. Fog signal installed in 1895, removed in 1978. A bell buoy several hundred yards offshore has marked the harbor entrance and warned of a nearby reef. The Coast Guard removes the buoy every fall. All right, let's do this first building. This is the Maritime Museum. And gift shop, of course. Ouch. The flies up here bite. So this building was the original Foghorn building. The lightkeeper and assistant stood watch. So once fog was sighted out this window, they activated the horn. Here's a bunch of the shipwrecks. Oh, the Coast Guard cutter Mesquite. That was all the information on that display behind me. Ran aground December 1989. I normally don't do museums like this. Well, like I have an interest in history, but sometimes just looking at a lot of artifacts isn't always interesting. Kind of depends on what the topic is. All right, let's go look at the lighthouse itself. My grandpa ran an antique store for many, many years, so I guess in my childhood I got my fill of looking and smelling older items. Yeah. National Register of Historic Places. It's kind of a nice view of the harbor. Yeah, this is the kind of antiques my grandpa would restore, especially the furniture. They would sell in their antique store. Grandma had shelves and shelves of antique books with what was valuable or rare and pricing guides. And then along came eBay, and that was the end of the antique business. So this is up to the tower. The lantern room itself is closed because it's still an operational lighthouse. And then up there is the light. All right, this is the Commercial Fishing Museum. I have no interest in that, so we're just going to skip it. This was actually these two buildings were, the lady at the front kiosk was telling me that these were placed on a barge and brought across in the 30s during the Depression because they needed more space over here in Depression, so waste not. That was kind of interesting. It's a Chrysler. So the lady at the kiosk was telling me, so this is Chrysler Model 50. That one of the shipwrecks, I think there's a display in here about it. One of the shipwrecks was a ship carrying a whole bunch of these Chryslers to Duluth. Oh yeah, here we go. The City of Bangor. Yeah, vessel built in 1896, carrying all these cars. So saying 220 brand new automobiles, mostly Chryslers, with a sprinkling of Whippets headed towards 220 owners in Duluth, Minnesota. Even after she grounded, the hull remained on shore for 18 years. Looks like the steel went into the World War II effort. Yeah, there was a storm and then steam-powered steering gear broke. Ran hard into a reef. Fortunately, the reef was a short distance from shore. Men had little difficulty getting their lifeboats launched across the narrow gap of safety. Even though, okay, so reading through all this, check out some of these photos. I don't know if these are photos or just artist renditions, but Captain Glaze's boat returned to Copper Harbor in several days to pick up the Bangor crew. All right, so the seas knocked 18 cars from the deck. They still reside somewhere in between, slightly below Horseshoe and Copper Harbors. In mid-December, the remaining vehicles were chopped free from the deck or winched from the hold. then lowered by ramp to the ice. Teams cleared a road along the ice to Copper Harbor, and soon after Christmas, the vehicles were driven to harbor under their own power and lined up in front of Charlie and Mackey's house for the winter. As next year's Chryslers were already on the drawing board, it is imperative that the City of Bangor vehicles be returned to Detroit for reconditioning and put back on the market as soon as possible. As soon as possible being whenever the road between Copper Harbor and Phoenix is a little town on Highway 41 that I drove through on the way up here, could be opened. No attempt was made before March, and even then it was 2 weeks short for opening. Keweenaw County plows. Okay. I was saying, my question was what happened to the cars, and the answer is that. Caravan of vehicles proceeded to Calumet under its own power between snowbanks 8 and 10 feet high. The Chrysler people were offering drivers $5 for each vehicle they brought through, but there were a few able-bodied Calumet boys who didn't ease out of school to share in the bonanza. By the 1st of April, all but 2 or 3 of the vehicles had been loaded on flat cars and shipped back to Detroit. William Nicholson, one of the owners of the Bangor, visited the scene of the wreck the following summer and decided she was total lost. She was sold to a company out of Detroit, Michigan, but salvage operations did not begin until 1928. It was resold in the 40s. Today, no physical traces remain unless you look through the window. Fascinating. So is this one of the actual cars, or is this just a similar model? I'm guessing a machine like that still runs the cell service in this area. Yeah, it's definitely clouding up again. Yeah, there's definitely more rain coming in. But we're just going to keep going along the shoreline and until I reach some sort of civilization. I'm not sure what all there is in Copper Harbor, where I came from, other than I marked it. I would like to check out that old fort if it's still there, but I don't do enough research to know what's where. I just see a name and look at a couple photos and read a brief description and pin it on my map. Okay, this is Great Sand Bay. This is just a scenic turnoff on the side of the road. And is the entire theme of this weekend. This would be very pretty if it wasn't for wildfire smoke. So Standard Rock was in yesterday's video. That's the most remote lighthouse or signal light in the country or world. And we are up there. And down there is Marquette, and somewhere in around there is camp. There's a beach down there with some people swimming, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Still no cell service even up on this hill. Although I do see cell towers up there. So I'm going to reboot my phone, see if I can get service here. I did manage to get cell service on top of this hill. So that lighthouse at Copper Harbor, once you start reading the reviews, they all say that it's inaccessible by vehicle and you have to catch a boat to go over there. So I've seen enough lighthouses, I'm not going to do that. However, the original Fort Wilkins is still there. It's in the state park. So when you're going through the state park, you have to turn right into there and then you go in and do it. I also looked at, if I continue going down this road here to the west,
This will take me around to the little town of Phoenix, which is on Highway 41, which then takes me back to the back to civilization. There's nothing else along this path that I want to see, so I'm actually going to flip a U here, go back through Eagle Springs, Eagle Harbor, and all the way back to Copper Harbor. When I get to the main town, if I go left towards the water, there's a harbor there I want to look at, and then I'll go take a look at the original Fort Wilkins, and then I'm going to take Highway 41 back out of here. There is a mining museum up on Highway 41 that looks kind of interesting that I saw on the way in that I had marked. Don't mind my hair, it's a little breezy up here. I remember seeing the roadside sign, so I'll be able to find that even if I don't have service. So anyway, now we have a plan. Yay. People don't fail to plan, they plan to fail. Or reverse that. Piss poor planning on my part does not constitute an emergency on yours. I'll also make a shut up. And then lastly, my plan is to have a plan. I love those. All right, catch you later. Oh shit, I almost forgot to look at the weather. What am I thinking?
How could I have been so careless?
Yeah, I have like half a bar of 4G service if I stand outside the truck. If I'm in the truck, it disappears. But I did look at the weather. It's just on and off chance, 30% of rain throughout this area the whole rest of the day. Nothing indicated on radar coming in, but might get some sprinkles here and there, so that's what it is. Okay, this is the Silver River. So this is the M26 bridge. The mark. There are falls here. I had them pinned on the map, and there's a sign. I wasn't going to do this today because I'm not wearing hiking shoes and it's pretty muddy, but we'll, I wonder if that's it right there. Oh. Yeah, this path, blah, 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 just ends. Very cool bridge. I think the falls maybe are over there. This doesn't look too bad at all. You know, I just can't ever pass up a good waterfall. Yeah, this isn't bad at all. I thought maybe this would be ridiculously muddy today. I mean, granted, I've seen some pretty spectacular waterfalls so far this trip. But I don't mind, especially since this one's right off of the roadway and doesn't require a long, extensive, rugged terrain hike to get to. We'll check it out. Good. Looks like you can keep hiking further down, but this is just the same thing over and over. It's cool, but gotten spoiled. And I want to get back up to Copper Harbor because I'm 3 hours away from camp yet, so I don't want to be up around here super late because it's a long drive home. And by home, I mean back to camp. I looked at my odometer a minute ago. I'm like 1,400 miles on this trip. That includes, yes, on my running around, but long way from home. There we go. That's a good selfie. Put my head over here. There we go. So that was Silver River Falls. Yeah, let's go back through the mud in my truck. Here we are at Copper Harbor State Harbor. I don't know if there's anything really to see here. I think this is just basically a public boat launch. Lighthouse tours, fishing charters, shoreline cruises, sunset tours. And then they want you to visit their website. That building is boaters only. That website, obviously I can't get to with no cell service. That's an interesting sign though. Do not enter water. Electrical shock hazard. Electrical currents may be present in the water, which can be lethal. Okay, I've never seen a sign like that. That's interesting. There's a hiking trail here, but I'm not up for more hiking today. Huh. Interesting. This is in Copper Harbor now, the town, down by the water. It's quite a view.
Okay, this is, we're back in Fort Wilkins State Park. This is the Lighthouse overlook. And over there on the other side of the road is the actual fort, which we'll check out next. Here's another one of those signs for the charters. I've not seen a cell tower anywhere around here, so I don't think it's just T-Mobile doesn't have service up here. I don't know how anybody does. Shipwreck. September 1844, the John Jacob Astor was driven upon the rocks by gale-swept seas. Copper schooners. Here we go. Here's what we're here for. The Copper Harbor Lighthouse. Built in 1848. Replaced in the 1860s. Now automated. 12.5 miles distance. The Astor will never leave. All right, so clear over there is the lighthouse. Only accessible by boat. The finest vessel afloat. It's a pretty view in here. Steps down to the shore. All right, I got to see the lighthouse, which is what I tried doing 3 hours ago when I was here and it was raining. It's warm now, about 81, sun shining. Had to ditch my sweatshirt. All right. Over to the fort. Editing Kevin from the future here. I was going to complete this entire video with everything I did Monday, including Fort Wilkins. But this thing is already at 45 minutes plus, and when I inserted the first clip from Fort Wilkins, the video went up over an hour. So I'm going to end this one here and just start another video fresh with Fort Wilkins, as well as the scenic drive back to camp that night. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you for watching. And if you didn't, I'm sorry I bored you to tears. And I really don't intend on having that much more museum coverage. This was a lot for this one. Not really my thing, but yeah, every now and then it's something a little bit different. So yeah, that was this one, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye. Here we got a cannon.